It was a Friday late in August 2020, a year already so heavy with grief that it felt like the world might break under the weight of it. The news cycle was a relentless drumbeat of bad news, but nothing could have prepared the world for what appeared on social media at the end of that month. When the headline flashed across screens, Chadwick Boseman has died, the immediate reaction was not sadness, but confusion. It quickly turned to anger, then to a collective, gasping shock. Chadwick Boseman was 43 years old. He was the Black Panther. He was the picture of physical perfection, having just headlined the biggest cultural phenomenon in cinematic history. He had a comic book hero's physique and a king's posture. And then, the follow-up detail arrived, delivered in a quiet statement from his family. Chadwick had been diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2016. For 4 years, he had undergone countless surgeries and chemotherapy treatments while filming Marshall, Da 5 Bloods, Black Panther, Avengers, Endgame, and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. While the world mourned, one man sat in silence, connecting dots that nobody else could see. That man was Denzel Washington. And when he finally spoke, he didn't just pay tribute, he revealed a truth about legacy, suffering, and love that changed how the world viewed the final years of the King of Wakanda. To understand why Denzel Washington's reaction carried the weight of a bombshell, you have to travel back in time almost 30 years before Chadwick's death. Long before the vibranium suit, Chadwick Boseman was just a skinny kid from South Carolina studying directing at Howard University. In the late 1990s, he and a handful of other theater students were accepted into a prestigious acting program at the British American Drama Academy in Oxford, England. It was a golden ticket, a life-changing opportunity to study Shakespeare on the very soil where the language was born. But there was a catch. The tuition was astronomical, and the due date was looming. None of them could afford it. Enter Felicia Rashad, the legendary actress who was mentoring the students at Howard. Rashad saw the desperation in her students' eyes and made a series of phone calls to wealthy alumni to ask for a favor. According to Chadwick's own account during his 2019 speech at the AFI Life Achievement Award, Rashad managed to get the tuition covered by a mystery donor. Chadwick recalled receiving a letter, a formal notification that his summer session was paid for in full. When he asked who the benefactor was, he was given a name that left him speechless. It was Denzel Washington. At the time, Chadwick was nobody. Denzel was the man. Imagine receiving the letter that your tuition for that summer was paid for and that your benefactor was none other than the dopest actor on the planet, Boseman said from the stage. For years, Chadwick carried the weight of that gratitude, unsure if Denzel even remembered writing the check. He told Rolling Stone in 2018, "I wrote him a letter back then, but I'm sure he has no idea. It was random." That random act of kindness planted a seed that would grow into one of the most sacred relationships in Hollywood. As Chadwick's star rose, first as Jackie Robinson in 42, then as James Brown in Get On Up, something strange began to happen. While the public saw bulging muscles, the people close to him, specifically those watching from a distance like Denzel, saw the weight. The first major clue that something was off came during the press tour for Black Panther. Denzel Washington attended a screening of the film. He has admitted that he went backstage afterward to see Chadwick and director Ryan Coogler. "I watched the movie and I remember shedding a tear," Denzel told reporters later. But the tear wasn't just about pride. It was a realization of a torch being passed. However, it was during the production of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom that the true nature of the bombshell began to surface. Denzel served as a producer on the Netflix film. It was meant to be a reunion of spirits, the mentor and the protege finally working side by side. But on set, Denzel noticed Chadwick's pace was slower. He noticed the exhaustion between takes. In an interview with CBS Sunday Morning, Denzel shared the chilling details of what he witnessed. He didn't know about the cancer, but he saw the symptoms of a man fighting for his life. He was weaker, obviously, but he was a fighter, Denzel said. But the most profound clue wasn't Chadwick's exhaustion, it was the presence of a woman at his side, Taylor Simone Ledward. Chadwick's partner was a constant fixture. Denzel watched the way she shadowed Chadwick, the way her eyes never left him, the way she administered quiet care that looked like love and was love but had an edge of medical vigilance to it. Denzel didn't know she was helping a man undergoing chemotherapy. He just saw a young couple in love. Here is the moment where the story pivots from tribute to tragedy. During the filming of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Denzel Washington pulled Chadwick Boseman aside. Not knowing that Chadwick was facing his own mortality, Denzel looked at the loyalty and intensity of Taylor Simone Ledward and gave Chadwick some old-school, fatherly advice. "I actually said to him, 'Man, you need to put a ring on that finger,'" Denzel revealed. Denzel saw the way Taylor protected Chadwick. He saw a woman who was keeping her eye on him and watching his every move. Denzel, thinking he was just witnessing a healthy romance, told the younger man to lock it down. Chadwick smiled. He likely nodded. What Denzel didn't realize, what nobody realized, is that he was watching a death vigil. Taylor wasn't just a doting girlfriend, she was a guardian. She knew the diagnosis. She was likely counting the days, making sure he was safe, making sure he had the strength for just one more take. Chadwick took Denzel's advice. He proposed, and secretly, before he died, he married Taylor. When Denzel learned of the secret marriage and the secret illness after Chadwick's death, the emotional weight of that casual advice crushed him. He realized he had been an unwitting participant in the final act of Chadwick's life. He had told a dying man to get married, and Chadwick, the warrior, had done it, finding joy in the wreckage of his disease. But the true bombshell, the statement that broke the internet, came when a reporter asked Denzel how he felt about Chadwick's life being cut short. Denzel didn't give a standard soundbite about tragedy. He reframed the entire narrative. In an interview with IMDb and later circulated by major outlets like MovieWeb, Denzel Washington dropped the quote that silenced critics and mourners alike. Speaking about Chadwick's passing, Denzel said with a fierce, calm gravity, "He didn't get cheated. We did ****. Think about the psychological depth of that statement. Denzel refused to view Chadwick as a victim. He rejected the narrative of the tragic black icon who died too young. He got cheated? No, Denzel continued. He lived a full life. I pray for his poor wife and his family. They got cheated, but he lived a full life. This was the bombshell. Denzel revealed to the world that we had it all backwards. The public was crying for Chadwick, feeling sorry for the man who died at 43. But Denzel, who had watched Chadwick perform at the absolute peak of his powers while riddled with cancer, argued that Chadwick had actually won. He accomplished in 43 years what most couldn't in 100. He became a global icon, a hero to black children everywhere, and a husband to the love of his life, all while enduring pain that would fell a horse. Chadwick did not need the public's pity. According to Denzel, he needed the public's recognition that his life was a triumph, not a truncation. He was there to deliver, and he delivered, Denzel said. The impact of Denzel Washington's words changed the way the world consumed the final works of Chadwick Boseman. When Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was released on Netflix later that year, audiences were no longer just watching a performance, they were watching a testament. In the film, Chadwick plays Levy, a young, ambitious trumpeter whose body is full of energy and rage, who dances wildly, who tears his soul open on screen. Knowing that he was in stage 4 cancer while jumping around that rehearsal room turns the movie from a drama into a documentary of the human spirit. Denzel produced that film. Denzel paid for his school. Denzel told him to get married. And at the end, Denzel was there to carry the eulogy. The bombshell wasn't a secret feud. It wasn't a hidden scandal. The bombshell was the revelation that for 4 years, one of the most generous men in Hollywood watched another man fight a war silently, and only after the war was over did he realize he had been watching a superhuman. Denzel Washington dropped the truth that Chadwick Boseman was not a man who died of cancer, he was a man who defeated time itself. In a world obsessed with fame and visibility, Chadwick Boseman hid his deepest struggle to protect the dreams of millions of children who believed he was truly invincible. And Denzel Washington, by simply telling the truth about their friendship, ensured that Boseman's sacrifice was not just seen, but understood. As of 2026, the image of Denzel wiping his eye, speaking softly about the boy whose tuition he paid, remains the final, powerful coda to the Black Panther saga. Denzel didn't just lose a colleague. He lost the greatest return on an investment he ever made. He invested in a student, and that student became a king. And kings, as Denzel noted, don't get cheated.